In this podcast episode, Scott Galloway joins host Patrick to explore the challenges young men face in today's society. They discuss the intersection of biology, economics, education, and culture in shaping men's struggles, touching on issues of fatherhood, male role models, faith, relationships, anxiety, and wealth creation. Galloway offers insights into the societal shifts impacting men and shares practical advice on navigating manhood, fatherhood, and financial success. Scott Galloway opens by presenting alarming statistics about young men's increased challenges, higher suicide rates, declining dating efforts, and social isolation. He underlines the lack of empathy for young men, which contrasts with the focused support for other groups. While recognizing that men of older generations held disproportionate advantages, Galloway emphasizes that current young men face a complex mix of biological delays in development, economic displacement, and cultural marginalization. The decline in vocational pathways traditionally open to boys, such as trades and manufacturing, has further shrunk their opportunities for economic and social ascent. Additionally, persistent messaging that brands young men as the problem exacerbates their struggles. Galloway stresses the critical role of male role models in boys' lives, asserting that the absence of a father or male influence is often the pivotal factor when a boy comes off the rails. He highlights that while society largely praises the progress of women, it has overlooked the deteriorating standing of young men, including alarming issues like high suicide rates. Through personal experience and observation, he finds examples of positive masculinity not only in public figures, but importantly in everyday men who demonstrate loyalty, hard work, and family commitment. He critiques both the far right and far left for unproductive approaches, the former wanting to revert society to outdated norms, the latter dismissing men's problems by labeling them as the root cause. The conversation shifts to the rising anxiety and depression in children, citing research that conservative parenting tends to result in lower anxiety levels than liberal parenting. Galloway explores theories from scholars like Jonathan Haidt, who attributes increased anxiety partially to helicopter or bulldozer parenting styles that shield children too much, thereby limiting their resilience. He also points to the impact of social media and smartphones, which particularly affect young men by providing digital substitutes for real-world social and romantic interaction. This environment fosters isolation and unrealistic expectations, making authentic relationship building more difficult. Both Scott and Patrick share their personal stories regarding their fathers and the effects those relationships had on their own development. Galloway describes his distant relationship with his father and how consciously ending the scorecard mindset improved their bond over time. Patrick recounts the challenges of growing up with limited time with his father due to family circumstances, but notes the profound impact his dad had on his drive and work ethic. Both emphasize the importance of male presence and affection in raising boys, with Galloway actively seeking to demonstrate emotional availability and physical affection to his own sons. The discussion covers demographic changes, specifically how women entering the workforce has correlated with declining birth rates and changing dynamics in family formation. Galloway acknowledges that while women's economic independence has contributed to lower fertility rates, this is not inherently negative. It enables women to demand better partners and make more autonomous life choices. He notes that men now face higher expectations to level up, economically and socially. The shift challenges traditional gender roles, leading some men to feel displaced or disillusioned. Nonetheless, Galloway argues the rise of feminist and economic empowerment for women does not have to be a zero-sum game, but requires men to adapt. Galloway discusses the so-called Incel, involuntarily celibate movement, and dating difficulties for young men. He argues that many men who identify as incels are actually voluntarily celibate, lacking the social habits, fitness, or economic viability that could lead to relationships. He encourages young men to level up through consistent effort in fitness, work, and social involvement. He introduces his rule of threes, working out multiple times a week, steady employment, and regular participation in communal activities to improve social standing. Galloway warns against both extremes of messaging, either blaming women or dismissing male struggles, and instead advocates for practical self-improvement and accountability. Faith and religious communities emerge as important venues for young men to demonstrate excellence, build relationships, and find purpose. Galloway, though personally atheist, respects the social and communal functions religious institutions provide. He points out that traditional places like churches, mosques, and synagogues historically offered young men the chance to showcase their character beyond superficial online metrics. He highlights connections between long-term relationships, faith, and overall well-being, noting men benefit more visibly than women from stable partnerships. The decline in religious and institutional participation has left a void that impairs many young men's opportunities for mentorship and social growth. The education system is identified as disproportionately disadvantaging boys, especially in early grades, where developmental differences place boys behind girls in maturity. Galloway brings attention to the overwhelming female majority in teaching positions, especially in elementary school, leading to a cultural environment that tends to reward traditionally feminine behaviors like sitting still and verbal skills, disadvantaging kinetic and impulsive boys. He advocates for red-shirting boys by delaying their school start to better align with developmental readiness and increasing male involvement in schools through paid coaching and mentoring roles to provide relevant role models for boys. Scott Galloway offers candid guidance on financial success based on his personal journey from modest means to substantial wealth. He stresses the importance of focusing deeply on a skill or profession where one can excel, rather than spreading efforts thin through side hustles. He promotes disciplined investing, especially in low-cost index funds early and consistently, describing it as the stoicism approach to wealth. Diversification is key, as Galloway acknowledges his own experiences with boom and bust cycles from concentrated bets. Above all, he emphasizes resilience and persistence, the willingness to face rejection and keep eating dirt with a spoon. This mental toughness, combined with focus and financial discipline, forms the foundation for economic security and the ability to pursue fulfilling relationships. Galloway stresses that success comes with enduring numerous rejections and setbacks. He illustrates this through his start in sales, which required calling uninterested strangers and facing constant no's. According to him, perseverance in the face of adversity separates those who ultimately achieve their goals. The metaphor of having a spoon encapsulates the mental toughness and gritty determination needed to break through societal and personal obstacles, a trait shared by his successful peers. This theme ties back to the broader message that young men must take agency, work hard, and be patient to forge a meaningful and prosperous life.